So Plato's Cave is one of the most profoundly true philosophical constructs I have ever read. It has some of the most meaning I've ever gained from any of the writings and readings that I've ever read, like I just said before. And it's extremely powerful. So basically, there are multiple types of caves, Plato's cave, if you will. And some of them are mental, some of them are physical, and everything is a microcosm of a microcosm inside of a microcosm. Everything is an infinity. Everything is and is not at the same exact time. All of reality is a paradox. Every time you break out of one cave and become enlightened in a new capacity, I guarantee you, you've stepped into another cave, probably with broader dimensions and more horizons, but you're in another cave nonetheless. And you probably aren't even aware of it. And this isn't about right or wrong or who's smarter or who's not smarter. This is just about understanding the nature of reality and using this principle to diagnose where you're at and help yourself grow and become enlightened. Very powerful tool. And also it helps you understand as well the way that people are going to react to you when you are breaking through these cave walls and seeing greater worlds and greater color and greater texture and, downloading greater information in your subconscious and your mind, your spirit and your being, and then expressing that outward to people that are at lower states of consciousness. Keep in mind, lower does not mean worse or bad. That's not what it is. So to illustrate my point in a couple of ways. Think about it when you're a kid, right? You're 7, 8 years old. You're hanging out with your little buddies at your house. The parents are having a get together. So you're surrounded by all these adults. They're drinking wine. They're hanging out by the fireplace. Maybe they're smoking cigarettes if you're from my generation. And you're playing with your little buddies. They're having adult conversations that are so outside your scope of reality, of consciousness, that they could say whatever they want, basically right in front of you, and you won't even be able to process it. So now, the only difference in this time and space that is being occupied by the young ones and the older ones is the state of consciousness that they're in, their ability to perceive and understand and hold higher concepts in their mind. The physical reality and the time space, if you will, is exactly the same. There's nothing changed at all, just the difference in the levels of consciousness and what they're able to perceive. So when you're a kid in the same room as the adults and you can't understand what the adults are talking about, that doesn't mean that what the adults are talking about doesn't have texture, truth, robustness, and its own rules and circumstances and things that you can't even entertain in your mind. It's still all happening. So one of the best explanations I've heard someone say about this, I forgot where I picked it up from, but someone goes, think about a dog. A dog doesn't know that the internet exists, and it's totally a thing. Like it's a huge part of all of our lives. Most of our lives are spent on it at this point in time. But if you're a dog, you don't even know how to do www. anything. You don't even know this whole world is even out there. It's just lost on you. Why is that? Because of the dog's state of consciousness and the capacity that it has to receive this information and to understand.